Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover the games from last night in the LCS, give you a recap of what occurred this morning in the LPL and LCK, and then preview the LPL, LCK, and LEC schedules for tomorrow. Also, a bit of news. If you're new to the channel, roundups do include news if a major region team makes a move. FPX did. FPX signed Chow Chow, played with Anyone's Legend at support last year. This answers the rumors that LWX moving to support, like all those rumors that we were hearing about. Maybe LWX moves to support. They bring in Jingy or a different AD carry. Instead, they decide, hey, we're just going to bring in Chow Chow for now and see what happens. He put up a 2.7 KDA, 72.5 KP, and played 12 champions in 37 games with Anyone's Legend last year. Obviously, Anyone's Legend replaced him with Sword Art. This will put pressure on Lele, who has put up a 3.1 KDA, 81.2 KP, and 6 champions played in 15 games with FPX so far this year. I think they're 4-11 in games played overall, so it's been a rough go. And we'll see what transpires after that. Prediction-wise, I'm 130-61 as of the moment. This was a rough day. I think I went, let me see here, 126, so 4-5. My other board from yesterday is still over there. I had to look underneath this board to look at it, look at my record. So, EG and TL, EG win. 22nd in the power rankings were 5-2, TL 3-5. This was another ugly win. EG reminding me of Vitality a couple weeks ago, winning games they had no business winning, where it literally felt like nobody was a winner. Fans, teams, players, it does not matter. Sponsors, Riot, nobody wins. Jojo Pune 3-3-14, 31% of damage in mid on a Jace. Someday was MVP, going 9-2-1 on a Fiora. Yeon 5-5-2, 32% of damage for TL on Caitlyn. So some things I took away from this game. One, Someday was absolutely awful in laning phase and got completely gapped by Summit. TL could not utilize Summit's advantage. Summit would then blow his advantage as he does. Pioshik inted his face off on Jarvan. Yeon, frankly, it's at a point now, yesterday's game was so bad. Actually, there was a point. So he got solo killed by FBI's Jhin. So really, FBI should have been made MVP. But I erased this game from my memory. It was so awful. I tried to. Evidently, I didn't because I'm ranting and raving right now. But Yeon was solo killed by Jhin. Yeon had moments around the pit that were like, what the hell are we doing? He had a moment where he was down in bot lane and he was trying to push a wave into the Nexus turrets of EG 3v1, him being by himself, and blowing sums and using his ulti, and it was bad. It was so bad. And honestly, I mean, Yeon seems like a soft-spoken kid, so it's going to be a problem. To do this, I think it might be kind of risky, but I would not put it past TL to play Arrow next week. I really wouldn't. TL has some issues. I think that is a spot where they can do something. Arrow may not have hands anymore when it comes to mechanics, but I don't think he would make as egregious mistakes macro-wise that would hurt the team, if that makes sense. So, EG win. But really, this was a case where TL just inted in every way, shape, or form. Someday had a moment with a triple kill, and like, good for you. FBI probably should be MVP. I mean, nobody is MVP. IMT and C9. IMT 2-5, C9 5-2. They win 17th in the power rankings. Fudge 9-2-2, 27% of damage on a Jax. He dominated Revenge in top lane. Berserker 604 at 80 carry. A Blaze Olive 232, 35% of damage on a Victor. He got picked off a few times. The Blaze Olive Victor memes continue. As C9 just dominate. Blabber did work. Everybody's just banning Kindred and Graves against Immortals and saying, Kenvi, go play something that is boring and you can't carry on. And then Immortals, rest of their team can't do it. Balulu should be playing. I can't emphasize that enough. Is he dominating Academy? No. But I think he's better than a Blaze Olive. Blaze is just not doing it. He's just not doing it. And I mean, you're 2-6. You got to start getting interesting. The thing is, like, they have Balulu, so like they have ADD and Balulu. I don't. Chad, I think, is still at jungler. But Kenvy's young, Chad's young. I don't recall who's in the bot lane, but the point I think I'm trying to make is I don't know if they really have a lot of prospects they can bring up, but bringing Balulu up may be able to solidify things and kind of maybe right the ship in the second half of the round robin. CLG and 100 Thieves. CLG win. They were 3-4, 100 Thieves 4-3, 18th in the power rankings. Dokla 417, 31% of damage on a Aurelia. Contracts 507 on a Vi. Bjergsen 021, 39% of damage in mid on either Azir or Victor. Either way, 100 Thieves kind of slow played this until they lost. It was a very, very slow bleed. Dokla summed it up well after the game when interviewed by Courage that he was like, they just didn't do anything until they lost. Literally, they just didn't do anything. And that's what it felt like. I'm interested to see, every week so far, Doublelift has been doing VOD reviews on his stream and posting it, and I've listened to them because, you want a little bit insight of what's going on with this team because not everybody does that. So it's nice to hear, any team's, a way they're looking at the game, why things are transpiring the way they are. And, this one was constantly Vi going top lane, getting after Tenacity a couple times. People want to blame Closer. I think Tenacity kind of hinted at quite a few moments in this game. And there are moments even when they're trying to set up to try and contest objectives that he had made mistakes. And it's a young player, a rookie player, that is just making errors, and that happens. And that's not like, I'm not like saying it's a super bad thing. Like, it's better to work these things out now than when it's summertime and you need wins to get in the playoffs, or you're making these mistakes in the playoffs and you're trying to go to Worlds. Like, right now is when you want to make these errors. So that's okay, but at the same time, CLG are just playing a lot smoother, and Contracts played fantastic. TSM and Fly. So TSM beat Fly. They were 3-4, Fly 7-0, 8th in the power rankings. Maple 7-1-12, 34% of damage on Talia. Flash Wolves Maple showed up to play. Neo 808 at 80 carry. Vikla 236, 33% of damage on a Jace in mid for Fly. Fly just didn't have an answer. And not only that, TSM even hinted a bit. I mean, Solo's Cho'Gath was a good pick, but his build was super, super sus. A lot of MR into a team that was mainly AD, like very AD heavy. So it was questionable. Pick ended up working out, but Maple just, like I said, was Flash Wolves Maple. He dominated this game, dealt a ton of damage. I mean, 34% on Atalia is something else. Boogie made things happen when he had to. Spica was getting caught out on Maokai multiple times. It's funny hearing Yamato say, these good junglers that are playing Maokai just look to be inting their face off because they're protesting picking the champ. And honestly, I can see that. I think that too. I think players don't like playing dogs, and they may not go as hard. They may get lazy. They may make mistakes that they otherwise wouldn't because they don't really like playing the champion. And those are the sort of players that are the worst players to have. They seldom win championships because they don't have the mindset to do it. I don't think Spica had this in mind at the time. I think he was just trying to do too much, but there are moments where players seem to int their face off randomly because they got a champion they didn't like, and it's like, yeah, you're never going to win a championship with that attitude. So, with that over, TSM just... Fly just didn't have anything. And it was going to happen. And I've been saying it was going to happen to Immortals or Dig. Like, Fly was going to lose to a terrible team, and they lost to TSM. So that's kind of the deal there. Dig and Golden Guardians. Dig 0-7. Golden Guardians 3-4. They win Huhi MVP on a Nami. Stixay 705, 41% of damage. Stixay right now, over the last 4 games, I want to say is 31-0-17, 31-0-14 or something like that. He has not died in the last 4 games. And yes, it's been against Dig, CLG, Immortals, and TSM. But the fact of the matter is, he's on a run. Golden Guardians are on a run. Ever since Gory has gotten used to the team with River, they have really been very good. Gory 502 on an Akali, Spawn 230, 39% of damage for Dig. So the bot lane dealt the vast majority of the damage in this game. And they did work. Licorice picked Lee Sin. That was kind of weird, but we'll take what we can get, I guess, if you're a Golden Guardians fan. Huhi, though, alongside Stixay, his bubbles were on point. His waves were on point. He played a fantastic game. And Dig are just completely a mess. Tomo should be up. I keep championing that. I understand Ignar just got here, and honestly, Ignar has not played too badly. But at the same time, Ignar cannot play all 5 roles. And right now this team is looking bad. Jensen's getting picked off all the time. Armut without Gnar is, so it's not good for Dig. It really isn't. LCK this morning, T1 and Sandbox. T1 first, Sandbox 12th. T1 would win 2-1. Game 1, they got blown out. Zeus picked Yasuo top. Faker 13-8-7, 29% of damage. Keria 5-6-28 was MVP. Had a clutch Lux game in Game 2 and a solid Annie game in Game 3. Envy 7-8-8, 27% of damage for Sandbox. Had some great plays. Solo killed Guma. There were a couple 2v2 kills in Game 1. The bot lane, Kale played a fabulous and absolutely cracked Nami game in Game 1 as well. So Sandbox's bot lane still doing work. Closer solo killed Faker in Game 1. Like I said, they took advantage of Zeus's Yasuo at times. But in Game 2, everything was flipped. T1 literally had like a 5k gold lead at 15 minutes. Maybe that's a different game. To put in perspective, though, they actually, I think, had the biggest gold lead of the year. Like 18,000 gold lead when they finally ended the game at like 25 minutes. They absolutely crushed them. Corki Victor matchup. And Faker would have a double solo bolo with the package in the side lane. Hopefully that doesn't mean that we're going to get a Victor Corki meta now that Azir's been slightly nerfed. I understand some people think it's not going to affect pro play. But you understand that they love their Corki Victor. That's a handshake that everybody loves. And I think it could happen again, unfortunately. But Keria, good Lux stuns or whatever. Lux Qs. Guma got his Caitlyn. That obviously was a mistake by Sandbox. And then Game 3 was a lot closer. There's a fight around Baron, and Owner took over. And as well as Keria on Annie. And it just kind of ended after that. Because Sandbox were in a great position at the time. I think they had Drake advantage and all sorts of things, but they blew the fight in the end. Good team, though. Overperforming. HLE and DRX. HLE 24th at 5-4. DRX 1-8. First series of the second round robin. HLE would win 2-0. Viper 9-1-10. 28% of damage was MVP. Life 2-1-18. The bot lane seems to be working out their problems, huh? Everybody wanted to condemn them to death, but it's just not the case. 11-2-28. Really good into Duck Dom and Barrel. Duck Dom led the way in damage with 31%, going 1-6-6. Top lane matchup was interesting. Game 1, Rascal got the better of Kingen for sure, despite HLE winning. It definitely wasn't because of Kingen. That's why I didn't name Kingen MVP, because in Game 2, he actually probably was the best player. But in Game 1, he was awful. And then in Game 2, very good. Zeka kind of left a lot on the table this series. Getting picked off, making mistakes. He also had some nice roam, so it was a mixed bag out of him. DRX finally putting in Juhan. It only took till now, but they played Juhan in Game 2. Did it make a big difference? Absolutely not. But I would have liked them to have done that going into the series, so maybe they could have got more scrim time with Juhan. Maybe the team gets more used to him. Maybe it shakes things up. Instead of being down 1-0 after getting blown out, hey, let's swap out junglers. I'm a traditional hockey guy, a traditional sports guy, hockey, for instance, right? So, and this could happen in football for you folks that are non-American. I don't know how often it happens in that sport, honestly, but it's the same concept. You pull the goalie, right? Goalie, the team's kind of playing bad in front of the goalie. Maybe it's like 3-0 early or something, and you can still come back. It's not likely, but you could come back, right? There's still a lot of time left. And you say to yourself, okay, we're going to shake stuff up by swapping out goalies. And, like, that is how I felt about this DRX situation in the jungle. Like, if you swap out junglers, maybe you can still figure out your season, but you don't do it in the middle of a split. I don't think that really, I mean, the middle of a series split, obviously you swap out, but series, not so much. LPL, LGD and NIP. LGD win 2-0. Obviously, LGD came in 1-5. Ninja and Pajamas 2-4. Haichao was dominant, going 18-4-5, 30% of damage on a Kassadin and an Akali. LPC 4-2-17. Invincible led the way for NIP, going 6-6-10, 31% of damage on a Jace. He had over 1,000 damage per minute across both games. So a very, very good game out of Invincible. Zhao Zhu had some moments on the K'Sante, but at the same time, I thought game 1 he left a lot on the table, so there's no way I was making him MVP. Jungle-wise, I thought Meteor Sejuani looked okay. Zhao Lao Bao had some moments that you really would want back. But in mid lane, Haichao was very impactful. And actually, in game 1, NIP should have won. They were taking the base, overstayed, allowed LGD to kind of regroup under their Nexus turrets, and Haichao would come away with the triple kill on Kassadin. They kind of allowed the game to go back and get close again, and then after that, LGD would finish that one. That was a 51-minute banger. That's the longest one, I think, in the LPL. Might be the longest one in all 4 major regions thus far. And I mean, game 2 was a little quicker than that, but at the same time, I think NIP were kind of spent by that point. TT and OMG, TT 21st, OMG 2-3, unranked, would win 2-0. Abel was MVP, had a great Tristana game in game 1, had more than 10 kills actually. Cream 8-5-12, 34% of damage. I think he played Victor in game 1 and then Tristana in game 2. PP God 1-1-23. I forget what he played in game 1. He played Avaris in game 2. Hoya, 165, 27% of damage. He struggled in the Shanji. Aki went top lane, got Shanji ahead, and Shanji became a menace on the K'Sante in both games. Part of me did consider making him MVP, but his KP wasn't very high, and it kind of made me think that, you know, like, yes, he did very well in the side lane, but how much did he impact the game in general? I mean, he had pressure, but it's not, you know, seen in the numbers quite as much, where Abel, double-digit kills. Game 2, they had triple 80 carry bot side. Abel did fine. Was he as impactful as Cream in game 2? No, but I thought he was more impactful than Cream in game 1, so it's hard to pick. Really, TT didn't show up. As simple as that. It's because I put them back in the top 25, and they just pissed right on me there. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yao Yao, I thought, still played great on Nautilus. Not his fault. Hoya did well into the Shy, and then Shanji's another beast, I guess. So that's kind of how that happened and transpired. Sneak peek for tomorrow. JDG and IG. JDG second, IG 9th, JDG 4-2, IG 5-2. Both coming off of losses. JDG lost to EDG, IG lost to Top. Week 7, day 1 of summer, JDG would win 2-1. Half the starters from that series start tomorrow. The 2 supports overlap. Missing went 1-11-38 in that one. Wink 1-11-22. Top lane is the matchup highlighted 369 and YSKM. Obviously 369 in the conversation for best top in the world. Definitely in the top 3 to 5. And YSKM is one of the more interesting players of the year thus far. Very fun player, charismatic. Obviously the health issues from a couple weeks ago. We'll see how IG do in this one against a very, very strong opponent who's coming off of 2 losses. There are veterans on that team in Knight and Ruler. Everybody that understand, hey, we've lost 2 series in a row. We need to beat IG. This is unacceptable. And this is kind of what we're going to find out what JDG is made of when you have a bunch of all-stars together and not necessarily a team itself. Rare Adam and BLG. Rare Adam 4-2. BLG 13th at 3-3. BLG beat Anyone's Legend. Rare Adam beat OMG. Week 6, day 6, BLG would win 2-1. 4 of the 10 starters overlap. Bin went 13-4-19 in that one. Cube would go 8-9-9. I thought that the jungler matchup was the one to highlight. Leyan and June. It'd be interesting if they both left Nidalee up and said, "Hey, I know neither one of us can resist, so are you going to first pick the Nidalee or are you going to let me have it?" Obviously, that seems extremely stupid and reckless to do, but the fact that they're even picking Nidalee, I would consider kind of stupid and reckless anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. As far as I'm concerned, they should not be picking it. We'll see which carry jungler accepts their fate to try and win, right? Because I don't think that they're going to carry. While Leyan might have to, where BLG have pieces where June should not have to be carrying. Weibo and Ultra Prime. Weibo 3-2 lost to Thunder Talk last time they're on the Rift. Ultra Prime 2-4 beat LGD. Week 4, day 3. Weibo would win 2-0 last time they played these two teams. Only one player from the starting 10 from that one plays tomorrow. It was the Shy. The Shy dominated in that one. 15-5-14. He definitely needs a performance like that right now. He's 1-25 or 1-27 in his last two series. Bot lanes will match up highlighted. Light and Crisp, Doggo, and Baolan. Obviously, Doggo and Baolan is the most interesting spot on paper on Ultra Prime. But we have to keep in mind, King has 2 pentakills in the last 2 weeks. So, or Ching in mid lane. So he's done a fabulous job. We'll see how he does into Xiaohu. But the bot lane should be also pretty interesting. A lot of big Light fans in the Discord. LCK, Kwangdong Freaks, and Bro. Kwangdong 2-7, Bro 3-6. KDF lost to Genji, Bro lost to D+. They played week 1, day 4 of the split. Bro would win 2-1. Karas went 11-1-14 with 26% of the team's damage in that one. Bulldog across from went 258, 32%. Obviously, this was a situation where this was the beginning of the split where KDF literally, it was just Bulldog every series. So we'll see how that one goes between these two teams. Right now, KDF is grading out better than Bro stats-wise, and KDF have played really, really well as of late, despite losing obviously more often than they're winning. Nongshim and KT. Nongshim 1-8, KT 6-3, fourth in the power rankings. KT Rolster beat DRX. Nongshim lost to HLE. They played day 5 of week 1. KT would win 2-1. Top sides the matchup highlighted. Keen went 6-5-12 with 24% of the damage in that one. DN went 3-8-9, 28-1%. There's not a lot of fun things to talk about with Nongshim. You could argue that Fiesta and BDD is still interesting because BDD played for Nongshim last year, but BDD has been around to so many teams now, it's really like, okay, is Nongshim really a team that we're going to say that's how we're going to remember BDD? It's like, no, that's not the case. So after playing them once, I'm sure he doesn't really care, if he cared at all even the first time. As far as the other matchups are concerned, I mean, Sylvie and Cuz is just kind of boring. Neither one overly great players, but it could be an even matchup. But Keen's playing better than anybody right now, so that matchup definitely, I mean, we'll see if the Indian can survive. LEC groups. SK 23rd in the power rankings at 6-3, Heretics 4-5. SK lost to Koi, Heretics lost to Vitality. Week 1, day 3 of the split, SK would win. Exakick went 7-1-9. Jack Spectre 1-5-7. That's the matchup highlighted. I think that they better show up. That's the thing. Heretics bot lane is not great. I almost said Vitality, and that's the only bot lane that's, I mean, that Heretics is one of the few bot lanes I might put under Vitalities. Like, Jack is very good on Draven and Zeri. Everyone's good on Zeri. Ban the Draven. Now what? Exakick and DOS have done a fabulous job this year, definitely surprising a lot of people. BDS and Astralis. BDS 25th at 5-4, Astralis 3-6. BDS lost to G2, Astralis lost to Mad. Week 2, day 2, BDS would win. The bot lane matchup is highlighted in this one as well. Crowny went 5-1-9, Kabe 3-3-3. Everything for Astralis goes through the bot lane, and BDS has been getting leads in almost every game through bot lane and top lane. So, the bot lane's definitely going to be a big point of contention. Who's going to come out ahead? Is there going to be some fun, interesting picks? Astralis probably have to play more into bot than BDS. You know, it'll definitely be closer than people expect. So that's it for this video. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.